Good evening. I'm just starting on the other channels, the wisdom. Many people come there, and also on the restream, the LinkedIn and Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. They're all channeled to that. And actually, I have another room at 7 o'clock today. I think that's the topic I'm going to talk about because it concerns about children and education and what are the ancient wisdom topics that we could make them learn as parents and then make them more self-reliant and more balanced. See, we are handling people coming through the culture, and at the end of more like a adulthood, we are taking them as stressed out, burned out people. So, of course, everybody pays attention to the education, but I'm not talking about core subjects. That will be done anyway. We will teach them math and science and all that. But I'm talking about something extra that we could teach the kids as parents, introduce them to topics of positive psychology, yoga and meditation, Reiki and pranic healing, and Feng Shui, uh, things like that that they don't normally do. Even communication skills and also public speaking skills and all that. uh, we were talking about these in special schools for sure, but more like a curriculum where we're attending to the inner aspect of the child. Not that we have to shape them into any particular thing, but then provide them some alternatives to develop what I call life skills, right? Those kind of things I'm very, very interested in. And I have been talking about this in the universities in India, and when they call me for speeches and different things. They call me for immunity. They call me for holistic health. They call me for proactive wellness, and they call me for how can we develop this stress reducing skills or habits that kids can develop. A simple thing like making the kids develop this quiet time just for a few minutes. When I introduced that, that was very instrumental for the kids to be quiet and to be able to reflect on what they are feeling, what they are understanding, and then expressing themselves freely. But then that reminder every day, this is the time where we're going to be quiet, worked wonders for them because they were able to control themselves, the urge of being loud or shouting or doing whatever. So that kind of thing was really greeted and appreciated by the teachers because these kids are much more quieter than they have seen before. So not only the kids, even the correctional facilities, some of the universities, corporate headquarters, they're all adopting this quiet time. You know, not making like naming them like a meditation or bigger terms like that. Just having the solitude of mind for just 3 minutes. I made a video on that and I presented to my friends. They can use it every day in the morning and in the evening so that they are in charge. We all feel sometimes not happy, irritated, or angry. That's all okay. But then you have these kind of skills, it doesn't last that much. See, overcome that much better without feeling guilty about it. That's what I was talking about. Lots of times people are very interested in that, teaching kids not by major lessons or major lectures, just simple things that they could do. For example, okay, put your hand on the chest, put your hand on the abdomen, and make sure the abdomen raises first before the chest one. That kind of diaphragmatic breathing, deep breathing, that worked beautiful too. Because for the kids, it's very easy, right? just let them first see which hand is coming up. If you know, the hand on the chest is coming up, then you know that they are using the normal, not really deep breathing. It's more like a flat, right? Like a shallow breathing. And then tell them, no, no, you have to reverse that, make it a abdominal breathing or diaphragmatic breathing. Actually, nothing goes into the abdomen, it all goes into our chest, right? So, but then the diaphragm goes down and pushes the abdominal wall to come out, not because the air is going into the abdomen, but that diaphragmatic breathing where abdomen is pushed. You can just ask them, put your hands, left one on the abdomen, right one on the chest, and then I heard, how are you? So it's a kind of they just come in and then they do that, right? So those kind of two things I really used in special schools where people wanted to prepare the kids for the universe, not just the university. That was the term, my favorite term, right? And it has to be really like that. Is it not to make only experts, only certain profits and all that? That's all okay, but that should not be the main thing, you know. But how can you deal with the life, with the life skills that we want to show them simply, not because of religious, not because of any moral education, but just putting them into what kind of wellness you are going to develop in your habits, right? So that's very, very important. When I talked about these two, uh, and later on, the feedback from the teachers was that they were able to restrain better, and they were able to calm down themselves better, and they were more happier children experiencing their own happiness as they do stuff, right? So I always encourage athletics and games and all that. That's all fun, right? But then we have to pay attention to how they are calming themselves down, how they are able to really reflect on something that they may have done, and they regretted it, and then but they want to learn from that without feeling really bad about it, you know, that kind of thing. So that's very my focus. I made 3 or 4 videos on that, you know. The videos will be presented. Actually, I have this other house, Sivagnana Jiva Seva, that is the title of the house. SGJ JS, that is the one. In that, I put it at 7 o'clock on the Wednesday when I come there, and people who are interested in spiritual matters, proactive wellness, holistic wellness, they come there, and we're going to talk about this topic. I'm mentioning it here because I was talking about for the last 2 3 days on this simple living and higher thinking. Not higher thinking means technical knowledge or medical knowledge or anything like that. They have their own place. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about what is considered lower thinking when it involves only your life, your needs, everything selfish, not something far greater than you. You know, they may say it, but then does it reflect in the life? You know, so the simple higher thinking is about live with as few resources as possible, and really cultivate this habit of elevating yourself from the lower self to higher self. They call it in spirituality. But then we don't have to go that far. Just elevated thinking, thinking that concerns the society, the world, the earth, something bigger than you. You know, even if you are working in an institution and you are thinking about the needs of the institution rather than uh, your own selfish. That's very plain. But then this whole thing is very important these days as we consider what we are doing to the planet. We always say use as few resources as possible, and also be aware of what's going on. That itself could be higher thinking when you are paying attention to the cold weather, the hot weather, everything that is going around. We can cultivate that kind of higher thinking or awareness of what's going on around you. and then out of that comes the need for other people too, right? So that's what I was talking about. Out of that came out, when are we starting this? Are we starting it with people like me who are almost retired, or with the people who are very young? Fortunately, I had this placed in me very, very early. So was very aware of planet, was aware of what is going on with the planet. I was aware of the simple things that can give us very good wellness. That was not there. It's all commercialized, and the hospitals are really treating only illness, which is their job. They have to do it. But as a healthcare practitioner, I feel I have to promote this ways of living to prevent the illness. And but when they get illness, well, okay, we're going to treat them, But then this day and age, with all this technology, all this knowledge that is available to us, my thing is, how can we identify the things that can be in 10 years down the line? See, actually, this is not an exaggeration. We can diagnose from the molecular biology and the markers. You can get cancer in 10 years now, even now, right? So you can adopt measures to not aggravate it, because many of the epigenetics that are influenced by our lifestyles. So if you know the epigenetics, what kind of telomeres are missing there, then you can say, okay, this is a uh, priority. Prior to cancer, you're having these changes in your genome. Then you can cut down those lifestyles that are influencing that kind of rapidity, and then you can prevent that cancer noticeably. So this is more than just detecting cancer when it is small, and taking it away or giving some treatments and all that. Usually that doesn't work, because by the time we kind of know that there is a occult malignancy, that means a very, very small one, that is there in other parts of the body too. So usually it comes out very much, because they never pay attention to the lifestyles as much as they should. So I'm all for, really diagnosing cancer very early, no doubt about it. But I'm talking about much earlier. That is going to come into our place. So that kind of knowledge, if we have, why are we not taking note of that and implementing them in our healthcare field, so that people can really prevent lots more things. For example, you have a of breast cancer, and then we can do workup, and then we can tell you, now you are Angelina Jolie. See what she did. She has a mastectomy done, because she knew that's a definite death, because her cancer is like that, right? It's going to happen. Maybe you don't record that much, because you can have a genome study and then see what it is telling you, and then you can change the lifestyles and go back and do that too. There is a stem cell research that's going on for autism, right? And especially neurological diseases. If you have a definite deficit of neurological system, for example, Parkinson's, right? Parkinson's is a degeneration of your basal ganglia, right? But then you know the deficit of nervous deficit that is there. But then when you give these stem cells, they go and form that particular neurological cells that have the deficiency around them, and then those neural cells will grow and then will help you. That's the actual thing is going on, and there are some treatments going on around the world, and they are doing the treatments to these people, and they are getting better. Okay, so that's very exciting news as a physician for me. But then we are a little bit away from making it completely available to everybody. Still, some of them are experimental, some of them are very expensive, but then some of the research level. What I am saying is, you have so many proactive wellness lifestyles that you have, that if you identify and start paying attention to them, not like obsessive compulsive way, but more like a commonsensical, intelligent, sensible person makes. Then instead of getting only once a year preventive examination, you're going to get this kind of awareness filled, more knowledgeable, and more using the technology, that kind of person. So you're kind of more enlightened about the whole thing, and then approach it that way. That will be very good. Now, in terms of our stress and coping skills and developing these life skills, you definitely have to um, really pay attention to what our ancient did, because they explored inner sciences. The science of science they called is the science of consciousness. Now the current scientists are coming close to them, but they already have these life measures. You don't have to go and live like them, but you can understand the wisdom they are saying, and then that's my style. I'm a modern man, but I have a high respect for the intuitive knowledge of the ancients, and then adopting them. My mind can be very irritable one day, or not even one day, one moment, and immediately I can calm down because I'm watching that. What is happening to me from somebody does something, I kind of get angry. Fine, I can get angry, but then immediately that goes down because I'm aware of it. That kind of understanding about the subconscious mind, positive psychology. That's one of the things I was mentioning in my videos. Of course, I mentioned about yoga and meditation. I can't talk about subconscious mind and also the consciousness. And I talk about positive psychology. And I talk about communications and public speaking. And I also talk about uh, Reiki, pranic energy healing, and acupuncture. So many skills are there, right? And also systems of Vastu and Feng Shui. These are about energy, like how you can arrange your things in the office, and that way you don't have to spend a lot of energy. For example, if you're an organized person, you will keep everything in its place. See what the principle was? Find a place for everything and keep everything in its place. So find a place for everything and keep everything in its place. If you can really make a habit of that and make kids also get into that, then obviously we build houses, everything like that. There's a kitchen, there is a bathroom, there's a bedroom, and there's a hall. We build them, right? Like that, if you can keep what is really kind of organized in your mind, in your external circumstances, is much better. Actually, the people who are very organized in their mind, they are very organized externally. They know exactly where they are going, what they are doing, they know exactly where their whole thing is around, right? That kind of thing. Okay. So I was going to talk about this in those three videos. I'm going to release them down the line. And then I'm going to invite people to look at them, because this is about children. This is about their education. This is about their life skills. And then ease them into wellness tips also, so that they are inside and outside balanced, and then have the skills to live property and avoid a lot of unnecessary suffering. That's my point of view. Lots of people are not really oriented towards that, but then if you are oriented towards, how would you feel, right? So that's the that's the thing I was going to talk about in the next few days. Okay. uh, Now, the yoga and meditation, how do they help children, especially, is first of all, they can develop focus, they can improve their focus and concentration, and reduce stress and anxiety. And it also promotes their physical health. That's how yoga, in a nutshell, helps them, right? Then how does this subconscious and understanding the subconscious mind help them is they can really be aware of their thoughts, emotions, and they can learn how to reprogram negative thoughts. That is the main thing, right? There are so many thought patterns will build up. They could be negative, right? But once they're aware of it, they will subconsciously you bury them. That's the thing. Then positive psychology is a very big deal these days in the psychiatric field because they want something positive happen, not just to describe them, analyze them, and then leave them alone. So it's kind of these children they develop a growth mindset because they understand what's going on, and then they build a resilience inside, right? And they cultivate positive outlook. Okay, and then communication and obviously that makes people they become more confident, more articulate, and then effective in communicating what they are trying to express and all that, right? And Reiki and pranic healing, all those things help the energy manipulation rather than energy depletion. Okay, and then Feng Shui, as I explained to you, you will be organized. You can have an organized mind, and that reflects everything that you do, and usually it helps a lot. Okay, it helps to save some of the resources of yours, either monetary or your energy or your time, and all this are saved when you're organized, right? That's where the systems of feng shui, the systems of vastu, all those things are kind of an entrepreneur, how it should be, what's the furniture you should be using, how it should be facing. For example, simple feng shui is in our clinic. My room kind of arranged such a way I can sit in my seat and I can see who is coming through the door. There are no surprises of somebody is coming behind me. And that's a good feng shui because you have a good view of what's going on, who is coming, and all that. Simple principle, but it's very important, I think. And also, if you take a mall and you have all these areas where people can relax, people can look at all the trees and gardens around them, and that brings more people to come there because it's not a dreary shopping area just to go and get things and do. But it's an area they can go and shop, but at the same time come back and sit down and enjoy the fountains or flowers or whatever lighting, all that they provide in the mall. They have tested this out, and then they have employed feng shui workers to arrange the ambience of the place, and that improved in a lot of good things for the business. That was there. We know about in New York. This was when malls were popular, right? And people really have done that, before. So those are the areas I'm going to talk about it. Of course, if you take yoga and meditation, a lot I can talk about it. But if you take subconscious and positive psychology, there's a lot we can talk about. And also, if you talk about what is the good communication, what's the first line communication, what is that you can communicate without really speaking a lot. And also in the public speaking, how do you prepare yourself for not getting too nervous, or how to overcome if you get nervous, and also how to be effective in communicating with whoever you are addressing. That kind of thing. Of course, energy management is where acupuncture, Reiki, pranic healing, all these things come. Okay, so that's the agenda for the next few days, and then I will expand on each one of them. I think altogether 6 areas I was going to explore, and I will explore at least one or two every day. Maybe two a day. That will say 3 days in a row. Okay, uh, that's what I wanted to talk to you guys about today. And any questions? Anybody wants to come up and talk about it? You are more than welcome to come. Okay. I opened a little earlier today, so it's almost we're almost 23, 25 minutes so far. Maybe we'll be here under 5 minutes. Um, my focus is on simple living and higher thinking, and the higher thinking is not about dogmatism. It's about opening our mind from our own conditioning, our own conclusions, our own conceptual thinking, and all that to something like a what our intelligence can ask questions, can probe further into the real truth, not because just because I read it in somewhere or it was drilled into us by the system. That's not what I'm talking about. Higher thinking is where you are in the pursuit of truth, and in the pursuit of truth, your own intelligence is employed to discover what it reveals, right? So if you are kind of stuck with certain kind of thing and then you don't explore anything further, either because you are afraid or you are anxious or you are going to lose something, then what happens is you will be not really opening your mind. Remember what Socrates said, all I know is I don't know. That is where we should start. That will give us the beginner's mind. That will give us really exploring things in a curious way, wonder way, and then you will learn a lot. Okay, that's what I mean by higher thinking, and then thinking for the larger good, or something for the larger than us, and not just selfish things that we want, but it is beyond that, beyond us, ourselves around it. And then opening with a beginner's mind really makes you realize that. Actually, this was quoted in the ancient wisdom. Every day you get up is a completely new day. Start by elevating your inner self, from conditioned, instinctive, impulsive human being who is limited to somebody who is intelligent, who is inquiring, who is curious about things and wondering about things, and then keeping aside our own concepts, conclusions, and allowing ourselves to learn. See, like yesterday, I was listening to a young girl. She is a wellness coach. She happened to come in one of the Indian channels. She's speaking in Hindi, but she talked about Om, how to do that in a very nice way, very simple way. I learned that because I'm open, even though I can do lectures on the Om and all that. What she said simply was very significant to me. If my mind is, oh, I know everything about it, I don't want to learn anything, would I be open to that? No, I was open to what she said and then started to practice right away. And I could see the difference a little bit. I could have all the philosophical implications, all the things around Om, I can tell you. But then there is a way to say that to get the benefit of that kind of, chanting or all that. So I am talking about that. If you don't accumulate, if you allow yourself to be completely cleaned out, then it will be more receptive to newer things, right? So that's what you need to do. That's what about higher thinking I'm talking about. Always look at what, even the science, what does it do? Maybe today we have a treatment and we are convinced this particular treatment works very well. But then somebody else thinks of something and they conduct some experiments, he tests it on so many thousands of people. Then what we thought was the right thing may not be completely accurate. Maybe they have improved on that, or they debunked this, or they found something completely new. Everything is like that, right? And then we say they are in the pursuit of truth, and once they found the truth, for that moment, whatever the truth they are, they want to employ that, right? So the truth may reveal you in a way that you want to observe, then the real truth may be farther from that. But basically, don't close yourself off saying that this is the only way we have. That's a mistake a lot of modern people are doing by assuming things, by making a claim that we are the very superior than the ancient. But once you open your mind like that and go and see what they are seeing, and I always say this, don't believe anyone. Go and experience it yourself. And then once you have done, once it is experienced, you know it is working, then you can question, you can doubt, and then once that investigation is over, then only you should be able to apply that in your life, and then from that you learn whether this is true or not. You know, I think most of the people don't do that. They just listen to whoever comes along the way, and then apply that, and then they pay for it, and then they learn like that too, which is not the good way to do it. If you question it from the beginning, many of the things you'll put aside, right? And then once you experiment with yourself and do all of that, then you'll say, okay, I am able to do this. I was able to understand this. And then go from there. Okay. So that is what I was talking this morning. Hopefully, yeah, this is more than 30 minutes. I wanted to be here for 30 minutes. I was just introducing this topic on kids and education, and how we can bring in some life skills into their education, apart from whatever we are teaching the core curriculum. Science and math and everything, yeah, absolutely, we should teach them. They should become expert on that and contribute. That is without saying. But don't miss out on the life skills. Okay, not the moral training, but the life skills, so that they can um, attain these skills that they can apply in life, and then that is the preparation for the universe, not just the university. Okay. Thank you. With that, I will conclude this session, because I have a session at 7 o'clock. That is where I'm going to go deeper into these things that I talked about, and I will see you there if you can come there. Thank you.